Pedophilia, when the child becomes a prey. In the darkest corners of the human psyche, where evil cloaks itself in desire, there lies a terrifying deviation known as pedophilia, a sexual and psychological disorder in which adults, whether male or female, are drawn toward children in a predatory and abusive manner. This isn't a mere moral lapse or a fleeting mistake. It is a deeply rooted pathology that turns the most innocent beings, children, into victims of a warped, sick mind. The child, unaware and trusting, becomes prey for an adult whose internal compass has been shattered. To understand the horror of pedophilia, one must first understand its nature. Pedophilia is defined by the persistent sexual attraction of an adult to prepubescent children. It is not a crime of passion, but of premeditation, often characterized by cunning, grooming, and manipulation. The adult uses kindness, gifts, or emotional pressure to gain the child's trust before committing the violation. The result? A shattered psyche, trauma that could take a lifetime to heal, and a stolen innocence that can never be returned. From a psychological standpoint, pedophilia is classified as a mental disorder by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, yet the classification alone does not absolve the perpetrator of responsibility. Not all psychological disorders make a person dangerous to others, but pedophilia crosses a sacred boundary, the harm of the vulnerable, the exploitation of those who cannot understand, defend, or resist. The question arises, what causes pedophilia? Is it the result of early trauma, genetic predisposition, or a corrupt moral structure reinforced by a decaying society? Studies have suggested multiple possible causes, ranging from neurological differences in the brain to histories of abuse in the perpetrator's own childhood. But none of these explanations ever serve as justification. Understanding a disease does not mean tolerating its consequences. Religiously and morally, pedophilia is not just a sin, it is a monstrous betrayal. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism alike condemn any form of sexual relations outside the moral bounds of consent and adulthood. Islam in particular protects the dignity and sanctity of the child, and has historically upheld harsh punishments for those who violate children, treating them not merely as criminals, but as enemies of society and God. The crime of pedophilia is not only a violation of a child's body, but also an assault on their future. Survivors often live with anxiety, depression, shame, and post-traumatic stress. Their ability to trust, to love, and even to view themselves as worthy can be permanently damaged. Some never speak of it. Others carry it in silence for years. What adds to the tragedy is how some societies attempt to normalize or minimize this crime. Under the banners of sexual freedom or psychological compassion, there are those who suggest that pedophilia should be understood rather than punished. But no civilized society can ever accept a worldview that sees children as objects of adult pleasure. No scientific or philosophical theory can override the moral instinct that protects the child. Today, the internet has become a dangerous arena where pedophiles form networks, share explicit content, and even lure children through games and chats. This digital jungle must be confronted with full force, through education, legal punishment, and digital surveillance. Parents, teachers, and institutions must be vigilant. Prevention begins with awareness. A child must be taught about personal boundaries, the difference between safe and unsafe touch, and that their voice matters. And the adult world must stop looking the other way. Silence is complicity. It is not enough to expose the criminal after the crime. Society must build walls before the predator comes close. And when he does, justice must be swift and unrelenting. Pedophilia is not a debate, nor a gray area in ethics. It is a red line drawn by every faith, every human conscience, and every decent society. To stand against it is not just to protect a child. It is to protect the soul of humanity itself. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel to get our latest videos.